Ever wonder why you're always stressed over things that, in hindsight, seem trivial? That's the question Richard Carlson tackles in his best-selling self-help book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff. Carlson, a renowned psychologist and writer, provides practical strategies for living a more serene and stress-free life. His main theme, concentrating on the bigger picture and not allowing minor issues to overwhelm us. So, let's delve into some of the key insights from this book that can help us live a more peaceful life. We often lose our peace of mind over minor issues. But why should we let trivial matters overshadow our happiness? In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to get caught up in the minutia, letting small inconveniences or setbacks throw us off course. But here's a different perspective to consider. What if we could see these instances not as monumental roadblocks, but as small bumps on the journey of life? Richard Carlson, in his insightful book, invites us to take a step back and view life from a broader perspective. The central message is plain and simple. Life is too short to be spent worrying about trivial matters. Now, that's not to say we should ignore problems, but rather, we should choose our battles wisely. We should focus on what truly matters and let go of the rest. Remember, the key to a peaceful life lies in the wisdom of not sweating the small stuff. Are you a perfectionist? If yes, you might be adding unnecessary stress to your life. In our race to achieve perfection, we often lose sight of the fact that it is the journey that matters, not just the destination. Striving for perfection can sometimes lead to stress, dissatisfaction, and a sense of failure when we fall short of our own high standards. But here's a thought. What if we embraced our imperfections instead? What if we saw them not as hindrances, but as unique aspects that add to our individuality? Remember, it's our quirks, our flaws, and our imperfections that make us who we are. They make us human. By accepting imperfections in ourselves and others, we free ourselves from the shackles of unrealistic expectations. We allow ourselves the freedom to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. And in doing so, we find a sense of peace and contentment that no amount of perfection can bring. Imperfections are not flaws, but unique aspects that make us who we are. Do you often feel life is unfair? You're not alone, but this mindset can increase our stress levels. Let's talk about that. We've all been there, haven't we? Feeling like the universe conspires against us while others seem to glide through life without a care. But here's the thing, life isn't always fair, and that's okay. The sooner we accept this truth, the more peaceful our lives become. See, it's not about the cards we're dealt, but how we play them. It's not about what happens to us, but how we respond. And it's certainly not about expecting life to be a well-balanced scale. That's just not how it works. So let's let go of this sense of entitlement, this belief that everything should be equal, just, and fair. It's a burdensome weight we don't need to carry. Once we accept that life isn't always fair, we can focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. Do you often find your mind wandering in the past or future, causing you unnecessary stress? If so, you're not alone. Many of us allow ourselves to be pulled in different directions by our thoughts, and this often leads to stress and anxiety. But there's a powerful tool we can use to combat this: mindfulness. Mindfulness is about living in the present moment, focusing on the here and now. When we're mindful, we're not obsessing over past mistakes or worrying about future uncertainties. We're fully engaged in what's happening right now. How can we practice mindfulness? Start by taking a few moments each day to just be. Pay attention to your breath, the sensations in your body, the sounds around you. Try to quiet your mind and just observe without judgment. Another technique is to fully immerse yourself in whatever you're doing. Whether you're washing dishes, walking the dog, or working on a project, give it your full attention. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Remember, the present moment is the only moment we truly have. Let's make the most of it. How often do we truly listen when someone else is speaking? Many of us may believe we're good listeners, but there's a vast difference between simply hearing words and truly understanding their meaning. Active listening is more than being silent when someone else has the floor. It's about giving your full attention, showing empathy, and responding with thoughtfulness. Imagine a conversation with a friend who's expressing their frustration. You might hear their words, but are you really listening? Are you mentally preparing your response, judging their actions, or are you genuinely trying to understand their feelings without interruption or judgment. This is the essence of active listening. Active listening requires patience, openness, and respect. It's about valuing the other person's thoughts and feelings as much as your own. When you truly listen, you foster deeper connections, reduce conflicts, and build trust. You allow the other person to feel heard, valued, and understood. It's a simple act, but one that can transform relationships. But how do we become better listeners? It starts with being fully present. This means setting aside distractions like your phone or your own thoughts and focusing entirely on the person speaking. Show that you're engaged through nonverbal cues like nodding your head or maintaining eye contact. These small actions can make a huge difference in how the other person feels. Next, resist the urge to interrupt or offer advice unless it's asked for. Sometimes people just need to be heard. They need a safe space to express their feelings without fear of judgment or unsolicited advice. And if you don't understand something, ask for clarification. This shows that you're genuinely interested in understanding their perspective. Finally, reflect back what you've heard. This not only confirms that you've understood correctly, but also shows the speaker that you've been paying attention. For example, you might say, "So what you're saying is," followed by a summary of their main points. Listening isn't just about hearing, it's about understanding. Let's strive to become better listeners. Remember, the true art of listening is less about the words you say and more about the silence you keep. Do you find it hard to say no, even when you're already overwhelmed? It's a situation many of us find ourselves in. We feel obligated, we fear disappointing others, and we often end up overburdened and stressed out. But here's the truth. It's essential to set boundaries. Saying no when necessary is a crucial part of self-care. You see, every time you say yes when you mean no, you give away a piece of your time, energy, and peace of mind. It's like pouring from an empty cup. There's nothing left for you. So how do we say no without feeling guilty? Start by understanding that your time and energy are valuable. You're not obligated to say yes to everything. Practice assertiveness. Be clear, concise, and respectful. You don't owe anyone an explanation, but if you feel one is necessary, keep it simple. "I'm sorry, but I can't commit to this right now." Remember, saying no doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you're taking care of your own needs. When was the last time you felt truly grateful for what you have in life? Gratitude, an emotion expressing appreciation for what one has, is a powerful tool that can significantly reduce stress and increase happiness. It's not about ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. It's about focusing on the good in our lives and recognizing that the sources of this goodness are outside of ourselves. When we feel grateful, we acknowledge the role that others play in our success and happiness. This can lead to a sense of connection with something larger than ourselves, whether other people, nature, or a higher power. Cultivating gratitude can be as simple as keeping a gratitude journal, where you jot down daily what you're thankful for. Or it could be making it a habit to tell a loved one something you appreciate about them every day. Remember, even in the most challenging times, there are always things to be grateful for. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings, routine jobs into joy, and ordinary opportunities into blessings. Are you keeping score in your relationships? This could be causing unnecessary strain. Often we find ourselves keeping a mental tally of who did what, who apologized first, or who made the most sacrifices. This, my friends, is a recipe for resentment. When we focus on the score, we shift our attention from the love and understanding that should be the foundation of our relationships to competition and grudges. But what if we changed the game? What if, instead of keeping score, we focused on generosity and kindness? The beauty of relationships lies in the ability to give without expecting anything in return. To be kind because it's right and not because it's owed. To be generous with our understanding, patience, and love. Not because we want to win, but because we care about the person on the other side. Remember, in relationships, it's not about keeping score. It's about understanding, patience, and love. Ever realized how a small act of kindness can brighten your day? It's like a spark that ignites a warm, radiant glow within us. The beauty of kindness is that it benefits the giver just as much as the receiver. Holding a door open, sharing a smile, lending a helping hand, these are all seeds of kindness. And when these seeds are planted, they grow, flourish, and spread, creating a forest of positivity. A single act of kindness throws out roots in all directions, and the roots spring up and make new trees. So, what can we learn from all these insights? From embracing imperfection to practicing active listening, and from cultivating gratitude to practicing random acts of kindness, life becomes more peaceful and fulfilling. It's about learning to let go, living in the present, and understanding that life isn't always fair. And remember, saying no is not a crime, it's a necessity. So, let's strive to implement these principles in our everyday lives. Remember, don't sweat the small stuff, and because it's all small stuff, small.